All right, West Virginia fans, Mountaineers outshine Arizona State. This team, it's coming together nicely for the West Virginia Mountaineers. Amit, how are we feeling tonight, brother?
Feeling great, man. I think this was a much needed win, a big win to do it on the road, right? First game away from the Coliseum, where you were able to get it done. So, I think they were able to battle back, and I think they looked really good tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Big win for West Virginia. I think this team is maturing in front of our eyes. I truly do believe that. Um, like you mentioned, it's the first time that we've won away from the Coliseum this year, which is extremely important for the confidence of this team. And now West Virginia is 4-2 in the Big 12. It's going to be a quad 2 win as of right now. So hopefully Arizona State can keep winning because that would help boost the resume a little bit. But overall, just a really nice, solid win for the West Virginia Mountaineers. So on tonight's show, we'll break down the most recent win over the Arizona State Sun Devils. It was a great win and a great night to be a Mountaineer if you're staying up late with us. We'll also talk about our initial thoughts of the football schedule getting released. We have a transfer edition that we'll talk about tonight quickly. We'll have some guys that made some news off the field that have left the program, and then you guys can go to bed after we're done with that. So we really appreciate you guys for sure. We have some comments already. Coop's already in here. Let's go. Trey, Jasper, um, and
Yeah.
Bilo personally gave Arizona State the BTA. Absolutely. Love your acronyms there. Everyone likes the stream. Everyone liked the stream or you like Pitt. That is accurate. If you don't like the stream and if you haven't subscribed yet, that does mean that you do like Pitt. I can that's factual. He said safe to say the Eagle staff has come together. Yeah, man, we're going to talk a lot about him tonight, Kevin. He's really coming into his own. This is the Trey Eagle staff that we all signed up for as West Virginia Mountaineers. And when a guy like your leading scorer, Honor Huff, just can't get it going a few nights in a row, Trey Eagle staff is there to put the team on their back.
Yeah, I think Trayson's really looking comfortable right now. He's starting to really get it together offensively. And then, I was concerned, when they went down 13 and the offense wasn't there, I was getting a little concerned. I know this is not, Houston or Iowa State that we were playing, but Eagle staff really carried the load. And, what he was able to do offensively from the perimeter was big time.
Yeah, again, it just seems like when he's on, you can tell pretty quickly, when the game starts, right? As soon as he starts hitting shots, you're like, it's going to be one of those nights. I started getting excited, and boom, man, the confidence, it just looks different. He looks like a
Yeah.
different player when he has it get it going. Mick, can you imagine if this team ever puts it together against big time competition and both Huff and Eagle staff have it going on the same night?
Yeah, no, it's fun to think about. I know. Oh, they're gonna have an opportunity coming up very quickly in this weekend. So that would be nice if they both can do it.
Coop said Arizona State. You got Eagle staffed. Hey, I like that. The Eagle has landed. I definitely had to put Trayson in the thumbnail. Originally, I didn't have him in the thumbnail, but I had to put him in here because he deserves a lot of credit. Mr. John, how are you, John? Really appreciate you coming back on the show and commenting. So hopefully you have a great night. I'm sure you are based on your comment. Big win indeed, John. So thank you for your comments and thank you for tuning in as always. And then, yeah, the West Virginia girls beat Arizona State today too, which was it's nice to see the girls get some love, and they've been doing some really great things. So, things are looking up at the Hope Coliseum and around the country for the West Virginia Mountaineers right now. Raven said, great team games. Several guys stepped up when Huff went cold. Absolutely. And that's going to be the theme of the show. So before we get into all the points of the show, if you are new around here, definitely remember to like and subscribe to the show. We really, really appreciate it as we grow JerseyEER. With that being said, let's get into the show. We have another comment from Kevin. This is going to help his confidence. Arizona, watch out. Huff and Eagle staff show. Down goes number one. Listen, I love it, man. If we beat Arizona on Saturday, this show's gonna explode. It'll be admit we'll be celebrating as we get ready for this huge snowstorm that's about to hit New Jersey coming up this weekend. All right, let's get to our first half thoughts. So originally, it didn't seem like this was going to be a great podcast. Early on in this game, I was like, man, we're gonna have to do this podcast tonight, the show. It's going to be like 11:15 at night, and it's going to be a rough one. Amit, what was your thoughts on West Virginia's initial start early on in this game?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great. Obviously, they seemed like they couldn't shoot at all in the early stages, and I was just having like memories like, why is this team so different at home and on the road? Just felt like that. But kudos to Trayson for really turning that tide for us, and making some big time shots because without him, who knows, what that league could have blossomed to.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned the point there, Eagle staff to the rescue. Like I said, he's starting to show his veteran presence on this team, and he's showing to be a reliable factor. He's turning it on when you need it the most. Like I said this on the last show, I would rather have a Trayson Eagle staff that is locked in during Big 12 play than against Coppin State and some of the other teams that we saw this year, right? So, I mean, maybe you wanted a little bit early when you played Ohio State and Clemson when he was getting 13 minutes a game. But now he's really taken on the leadership role. They interviewed him after the show. So can't say enough good things about him, man. This has been I wouldn't call it a pleasant surprise because we all knew that he was capable of this, but it's nice to see him snap out of this because for a while, I was kind of getting like Jamori Robinson vibes in football. I hate to say that because Jamori Robinson's probably going to go down as like one of the most hyped players to ever, come through West Virginia and not do much. And for a while, Eagle staff was kind of going down that same path, but absolutely not anymore, man. He's almost becoming like that Eric Stevenson type of player.
Yeah, I think he's just not thinking as much, right? Sometimes it's just like you got to play basketball, and I think he was in his own head, maybe just reading some of the comments and things like that, and sometimes you just go through things mentally as well when you're just not seeing the ball go in the basket, right? So I think now he's just playing a little bit more free, he seems more comfortable out there, and he's not thinking as much.
Yeah, and then they got within one, so I felt better as they closed the half. I think if you go into halftime, and it's a blowout, you're gonna have a different vibe. But this team got hot and they punched back. They took the first punch on the chin, but we have a tough jaw, and
Yeah.
we stood tough in a road environment, which is I'm sure this is not an easy road trip. They're away from home, they're away from campus, and they're on another side of the country with a different time zone. So I'm sure everything's different for them. I mean, Arizona State's a huge team. I think they said they were the 12th tallest team in the nation.
Yeah, especially with Jop down there. I mean, he's a 7'2" guy, and yeah, I think he was giving them a lot of trouble early on in the game.
That
Obviously,
dunk.
that dunk, and just getting a lot of things, going inside. I was worried about him and Odom. Those are the main two guys I was targeting, and those are the only two guys really that were doing anything for him, right? So, Odom being a New York guy as well, so how those guys, obviously can light it up as well. So. I think they did a better job on Jop in the second half. I don't think he really had it going as much. And then I think, honors three, like we have here, that was huge. Obviously, he was kind of cold in the first half and really didn't have it going. But that three at the buzzer, I think that gave West Virginia, a big time boost going in the second half.
I feel like Huff is always hitting those, man. He's always hitting. I tell you what, does he have the quickest release that you've ever seen from a West Virginia shooter? I mean, he just gets it and it doesn't even seem like he has time to put it in his hands. It's just a quick release and it goes.
He's definitely up there. I think like McNeil had a quick release. I remember Casey Mitchell was a guy like during my freshman year. He was definitely had a quick release too. So he's definitely up there though. No question.
Absolutely. I think he was 73rd or 75th all time in 3-pointers already. And that's a crazy list. I mean, he was passing some legit dudes. So honor Huff, man. Let's talk real quickly. When we both got both these guys, we got Honor Huff and we got Eagle staff, that we were excited as Mountaineer fans when we got these guys in the portal. And now that investment in these guys is really starting to pay off. And Amit, you mentioned both teams solid from the perimeter. Let's get to the second half thoughts and the final thoughts as we put a bow on the basketball, and we'll get into some football. Great job rallying for WVU and going up double digits. Yeah, Amit, I was a little bit more relaxed tonight, a little bit. I was a little nervous when they were pressing us, but ultimately, after they closed the last few games out that they were winning, I felt confident, but you wanted to see them do it on the road. And having a double-digit cushion was definitely important for West Virginia.
Yeah, 100%. They were up around 7-8, and then I think they were obviously able to get some things going. I thought Jasper Floyd and Belo were huge in the second half. Jasper, doing some great things offensively, rebounding the ball, and both guys were effective defensively as well. So yeah, I mean that rainbow three from Jasper, that was a hell of a shot.
Dude, I thought the thing was going to touch the ceiling when Jasper hit that. And actually, we have a comment from Kevin, and he said that Jasper, his shots vary in key moments. It's just, Kevin, it's funny you say that, because just like when we sleep on Jasper Floyd, there's times like, all right, this guy hasn't done much, he's not giving us much. Then he reminds you, he had that first big game of the season that reminded people, and then tonight. He came up clutch in the second half. And, I don't think it's even just Jasper Floyd. I think, you look at DJ Thomas and Lorient and some of the things that these guys are doing. I don't know. I just like the vibes of the team right now. I feel like they're getting a lot of production from a lot of different guys. In the beginning of the season, it was like, if Honor Huff's not hitting, we're pretty much, screwed. And this team, as of late, has been finding more continuity and more scoring from everybody and getting everybody involved. And that's been great, especially Jasper Floyd, like Kevin mentioned. So Kevin, thank you again for your comments. We really do appreciate it. Again, on a night when Huff was cold, Floyd and Lorient did a great things in the second half. We kind of mentioned that, right? The Rainbow Three we mentioned. Getting a win away from the Coliseum is absolutely massive for this team, because if this team wants to take the next step and they want to get into the NCAA tournament, they're going to have to win games on the road.
Yeah, 100%. And, they had some opportunities in neutral site environments. And, the first couple road games of the Big 12 are major challenges, obviously, with Iowa State and Houston, two premier programs in the Big 12. So, they definitely let a couple games go away in those neutral site environments. But, I think this is big for their confidence, right? Obviously, they're perfect at home, and you want to stay perfect at home. But you're going to have to win away from the Coliseum down, as March, nears, right? Because you're not going to be playing, if you want to get to the tournament, you're not playing at the Coliseum. So,
No.
you got to figure that out, right?
That would be sick. I wish they would do that. I wish they would. I said this on a few shows. I wish that they had home court advantage in college basketball. Could you imagine Morgantown if we ever got a home game at the Coliseum? I would have to bring the JerseyEER show down there.
Yeah,
we would have to do a show at like Sports Page or something before the game, or the GOAT. We'd have to check that out for sure. So we appreciate it. Wait, Kevin Varney. Oh, okay. He's probably talking about Saturday's game. He said, "Down goes Arizona." You heard it here first. Hey, man, Kevin, if we beat Arizona on Saturday, this live stream will be awesome. We will definitely appreciate if that happens, and me and Amit will be pumped. Amit, you're not doing anything Saturday, right? You'll probably be on the live stream Saturday, right? Unless you're taking Mama Batra out.
No, I'm pretty much free. I'm going to be snowed in most likely. So.
Amit's such a nice guy. I'm like, Amit, you want to come on the live stream today? He's like, yeah. He's like, I should be able to make it. I have to take my mom out to lunch first, but I should be there. I'm like, Amit, you're a nice guy, man. You really are a nice guy. And that's why we love having you on the show. He said, Coop said, even if we don't have a chance versus Arizona State, Trey and Honor both have to play to their A game. Yeah, and you mentioned Chance too. Chance Moore hasn't gotten many minutes because Eagle staff's been playing so well, but don't sleep on Chance Moore either. Devil Dog 44, an opposing Big 12 coach. It's scary. Boss Hodge hasn't even got his team to be consistent yet. Yeah, Ross Hodge, we haven't mentioned him once yet on the show, and I've been meaning to mention him. He deserves a hell of a lot of credit here, guys. We were tough on him in the beginning. There were some articles out by other people, not me. I backed him and said, we got to be patient with this guy. We've had 4 coaches in 4 years. But, he's a guy that wants to be here, it seems like. Coaches say a lot of things about him. Like, Grant McCaslin obviously coached with him. And a lot of people around the nation were saying and praising West Virginia for hiring him. Right. And I don't think coaches just blow smoke like that. I think they truly mean what they say. And you look at Ross Hodge's background with building junior colleges up. And just, the relationship that he has with Ren Baker, I think this is a good fit for West Virginia. And I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again. Back-to-back years now, guys, we have a competitive basketball team with 15 new players. This proves that West Virginia basketball is a good job. And it shows that with the right coach, you can win here. Now, I get it. We're not we still have a long way to go. We're not in the tournament yet, but you have to be encouraged as a West Virginia fan in year one of a new coach, like that guy was mentioning, that we're 4-2 in the conference. We're winning road games now, and we're seeing the team improve. I think that's the biggest thing. We're seeing this team improve each and every night.
Yeah, 100%. And to your point, like I was listening to Bill Self when we beat Kansas, and he was praising Ross, right? And a lot of coaches do. I mean, I think we have a good, we made a good hire with this guy, and yeah, you have to be patient. I mean, we're still competitive, right? You're in the mix. You're 13-6. You're 4-2 in the Big 12. There's a lot of fun right now with this team, and I think it's very exciting. I think he's only going to get better and better, right, as we move this thing along. But yeah, no, I'm excited, and I'm happy where we are at the moment. And yeah, it'll be fun. You have a major challenge on Saturday, one of 3 unbeaten's with Nebraska and Miami of Ohio. So yeah, college basketball is pretty wild. But hey, you're playing with house money, so let's see.
I just want to get into the big dance, man. I think it'd be
Yeah.
so exciting for the show. I think it'd be so exciting for our fan base. Our fan base needs it, and that tailored with baseball and the women's basketball. Things could be looking up. So I really hope so. I really hope that this can continue. Huff is due to go off, and Kevin, we talked about that at the top of the show. Can you imagine if you have Eagle staff and Huff and Belo and everyone going at the same time? This could be fun. If there was ever a time to do it, it's Saturday, right? It's
And to
Saturday
your
versus
point, I
Arizona.
think this team is the best when it's balanced, right? Obviously, Honor and Trace can go off, but when everybody's contributing, I think this team, like Jasper, has to get going, like Belo, like when everyone's contributing, I think this team is that much better.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what we're seeing is and that's what we thought going into the season. I mean, how many times before the season started, we did a preview show and we talked about it. We said, we felt going into the season, like, okay, we feel like this team, it won't be one guy each night. Based on
Yeah.
what's on the roster, we felt like you might get different things. And that changed early. But now we're starting to see what we envisioned. And that's different guys each night. And right now, in a few games, it's been Trey. But maybe it goes back to Honor a few nights. Maybe Chance Moore has a few nights, Belo, even Jasper Floyd. The pieces are here to be a well-balanced team. And I think balance is what makes you dangerous. So I'm excited about this one. Not too much to talk about in the box score. You guys want to talk about some football? The schedule release today. I haven't had a chance to talk on the schedule release. I've been saving this one. Let's talk some football. Let's talk about the schedule release. Let's hear what you guys think about the schedule because it's exciting. So let's go through it. I'll give you my notes. I'll get Amit's initial thoughts. And we'll talk this for a few minutes because this is exciting too. So Coastal Carolina, Saturday, September 5th. That's a home game. UT Martin, the Skyhawks. I had to figure out today what they were. Saturday, September 12th. And then a very interesting one, Virginia in Charlotte. I know the Mountaineer fans are going to be in attendance for that one on Saturday, September 19th. Then we get the Oklahoma State Cowboys. That should be interesting with the new coaching staff there with Morris. Iowa State, speaking of a new coaching staff, we get them on the road Saturday, October 3rd in a very winnable Big 12 road game. Then you get the Rich Rodriguez Bowl. You get Rich Rodriguez versus old team. You get Rodney Gallagher against us, and you get Hayden Luke versus his old team. So reunions all over the place for that one. And then you get the old Big East rival Cincinnati on Saturday, October 17th. And then after that, West Virginia's on the road for a long time. They play at TCU. They get a bye week on Halloween, which, by the way, I appreciate it. I have kids, and Halloween's big in my house. So the fact that I don't have to tell the wife that I have to DVR the game or watch the game on my phone while we're trick-or-treating is huge for me. So that was the biggest one of the schedule, was having the bye week on Halloween as a father with 2 and 1 kid on the way. So that's definitely important. The TCU is always a fun game. So that should be fun. Texas Tech is going to be a tough one on the road. Going to be a measuring stick game for West Virginia. Kansas, Houston, and Utah. Amit, we get 7 home games, which is great for the economy of West Virginia. You get 1 neutral site game in Charlotte. So that should be probably split 50-50, I would think. Maybe a little bit more Mountaineer fans, hopefully. We only have 4 true away games this year, which is big. We're going against 5 new coaches. We get 5 Big 12 home games, and I mentioned that bye week, October 31st. Amit, what is your initial thoughts from seeing the 2026 West Virginia Mountaineer football schedule?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty exciting. I mean, 7 home games is not always the case. So, a lot of opportunities for fans to get out to games. So, which, like you said, will boost the West Virginia economy and the local economy, which is always awesome. So, yeah, no, I think it's a winnable schedule, though. I really do. I mean, I think, you'd really have the option to, I mean, you have the opportunity to go 3-0. I mean, Virginia is going to be a great measuring stick, I think, that type of game in a neutral side. Love, the Charlotte games. I went to the Tennessee game like yourself back when we played them, in Charlotte. So I think that's a great opportunity, and that game could be crucial potentially as how the season kind of goes. But Oklahoma State, like I said the other week, I think they're going to be much improved with the new quarterback that they have coming in. And then, yeah, I think probably the TCU Texas Tech stretch might be the toughest, I would say, of the season. Those couple of weeks. But I think it's a very winnable schedule. I really do, and I think like eight wins could definitely be expected.
Yeah, that would be a nice second part. Eric Flowers, congratulations to you, friend. We covered the spread again. That's right. We were 1.5-point underdogs going into this one. So if you had them on the money line, you're even feeling better about that, Eric. Devil Dog said for a year 2 schedule, you have to be feeling good with all the coaching changes and Cincinnati getting decimated in the portal. Rich Rod has to like his chances to get bowl eligibility and get 7-5 with a bowl win. Yeah, I agree. I feel like this schedule almost sets up like 2023 a little bit, where you needed some things to fall in your lap, right? And yes, you have Texas Tech, but other than that, man, I feel like every other game could be winnable in the schedule, truthfully. I know Utah will be tough on that last week away. I actually think that's a good thing that we're away for Thanksgiving weekend because not many fans show up on that Thanksgiving game anyway.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that the Big 12, though, they need to fix this schedule. There's no reason why West Virginia and Cincinnati should not be played on rivalry week. It's the closest thing we have to a rivalry on the schedule. So if the schedule matrix has us against Cincinnati, that should be played, in my opinion, on rivalry week. Old Big East rivals, close for the fans to travel to. It just makes too much sense. I think the biggest swing games on the schedule, there's a few of them. Virginia, I think, is could be the most important game. I don't want to spill anything away. I think tomorrow I'm going to drop a video. I'm going to count down the most intriguing games. So I'm going to from 12 to 1, count down what I think is the most fascinating. A lot of them blend together though, so it's a tough one. I've been making the list. Not quite done with it yet. I think the Iowa State game is pretty big on the road. You get a road win there. Arizona, the Rich Rod Bowl could be huge, and then the Cincinnati game is massive because of where it falls on the schedule. You play Cincinnati on Saturday, October 17th, and then you're not home again until November 14th. So you want to keep the fan base engaged and get that one against a team that most people should feel confident going against because they lost their quarterback and we've had success against them in the past. So I think this fits well for Rich Rodriguez in year 2. For me, I think, let's get back to a winning record. When the season ends, I need to at least see a winning record. I cannot have another season where it's not a winning record. I think West Virginia, though, just based on looking at this, they need to make their hay early. Yeah. Coastal Carolina, UT Martin, Virginia, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, they should be 4-1, at least in that stretch. Even Arizona at home, that's a long road trip. 5-1 to start off. Cincinnati at home, 6-1 maybe to start it off. If we did that, the fan base would get ignited again. But what can't happen is we can't go like 3-3 in that stretch and then lose Cincinnati and then, go on the road. That would lose a lot of people off. So this is a massive, massive deal for West Virginia to get this thing back on the right track. So a few other comments. Jalen Henderson and Liberty, we're actually going to talk about that tonight's Coop. So I'm going to mention that in a little bit. He said Tyler Jackledge to San Jose State. All right. Devil Dog said, I see 6-1, 5-2 after the first games. Yeah, Devil Dog, I think those first ones are so important. I mean, let's just break it down. Let's assume you start 2-0 against Coastal and UT Martin. That Virginia game is huge. Virginia, like, it's so funny. Like, as Mountaineer fans, I know if you're like us, like I'm expecting to win that game. Like, truthfully, I'm still feeling confident in that one. And I know our fan base is, but if you talk to Virginia's fan base, I'm getting the vibe that they think that they're gonna win that one. So that could be a coin flip game. Oklahoma State is we get them at home, which is nice, but it is a little nerve wracking because they are bringing a lot of talent with them from North Texas.
100%.
Iowa State, I feel pretty confident in. I feel like, you lose Rocco Beck, you lose Matt Campbell, who's there for a long time. Iowa State has lost so many guys in the portal. I know we have too, but I feel like we have a little bit more coming back than they do. And then Arizona, like I said, they have Fafita coming back, and he's talented, but you get that game at home, So let's see what happens here, guys. Let's start. Let's get a 5-1 start, a 6-1 start to start the season, and then see what happens. If we can play relevant ball going into November, I think we would all sign up for that right now.
And I would say I just don't want any blowout losses like that middle stretch of the season that we saw like this past season. I just don't want where you're getting blown out like 3-4 straight games. Like that just can't happen.
Eric Flower said Tony and Brad seemed disgusted by the officiating of the game. Tony and Brad, speaking of them, they've been getting a lot of love recently on the broadcast. Have you guys been seeing that? They've been shouting out like 3 guys on the game, like 3 broadcasts in a row, talking about their podcast. Their podcast is awesome. I listen to it, as I'm sure as you guys do all the time. So, and I really listen to everybody to hear what they say. And obviously, this is a hobby, and those are the professionals, really. So I love listening to those guys, and seeing them get a lot of attention. That's good. Kevin Varney said we start 8-0, 2 weeks to prepare for Texas Tech. I love it. Yeah, we get a bye this time against them, and they don't have a bye because this time we both had byes, and that didn't really help us much. So, and Kevin Varney said 10 wins minimum. I'm feeling the optimism, baby. It's January, but it's heating up. It's heating up. He said, I worry about Houston and Texas Tech. Yeah, Houston's going to have the revenge factor on their mind, I'm sure. We beat a team last year that was ranked on the road. So I'm sure they're going to have their revenge factor on there. But at least we finally get Houston at home. I always said the Big 12, man, they missed an opportunity when we faced Dana. That game should have been played in Morgantown, the first Big 12 weekend of the year. That way our fans could have gave Dana Holgerson a nice Morgantown reunion. That would have been fun.
out of these 7 home games, I think you have to go at least 5-2. I really do. I think
that's
very possible.
I think the other interesting one that is interesting is Kansas. What are they going to look like this year? They don't have Jalen Daniels, but they bring back Andy Koldnicki. They bring back Trey Lathan, who is their leading tackler, who's a former Mountaineer. And they just got a quarterback from Rice, I believe. And they actually, they got, what's his name from Kansas State, the running back. What is the Kansas State running back's name? He was at Colorado originally and then went to Kansas State. He's a very solid running back. He transferred to Kansas. He went to a bitter rival. So that's crazy. All right, we'll save the schedule for another day. I'm going to talk about, like I said, I'm going to drop a video either tomorrow or Friday of the JerseyEER, my opinion, the top 12 games, like ranking them, right? Which one's the worst? Which one's going to be the most exciting? I'll drop that in the next day or two. So I'll definitely do more with that. Devil Dog said, any WVU content, and I'm there. I watch a couple channels that have 10 subs or less. I have a sickness. Hey man, you gotta start somewhere. I started this channel like 6 months ago. And, it's been a grind, and I actually, I'm going to keep some things back, but there are a few things brewing coming up. So be on the lookout for that for the JerseyEER show. There's some other things kind of happening in the background. So not going to say it yet, but there should be exciting things being announced pretty soon with the show. So be on the lookout for that. But we appreciate all the support, everyone watching. We have a lot of people in here tonight. All right, let's switch gears and talk some recruiting a bit. We got a new recruit today from Stephen F. Austin. And whenever we hear Stephen F. Austin, we always think of Thomas Walkup, the guy that dropped like 40 points on us in the NCAA tournament in Brooklyn, which you were there. I was getting my wisdom teeth extracted at the time. So
I wish I would.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't believe it. So this is a position of need for West Virginia as a safety. 6 foot 180, 42 tackles, 1 interception, 3 quarterbacks hurries, and he has 2 years left. So again, I like the fact that we're taking guys with 2 years left of eligibility, and it's great. And then we said we here now going back to the basketball and hopefully football and women's basketball, baseball. Man, we are here now. Let's get it. And yes, Coop, thank you, Dylan Edwards. That's exactly who I was talking about. Thank you.
Right,
Yep, went from Kansas to Kansas State to Kansas.
Yep.
That's I would be mad if one of our transfers went to like Pitt, I'd be mad, or Virginia Tech, Curtis Jones. Not too happy about that. I said Coach Trickle will have those linemen ready. All right, You ready to watch some Cameron Reddick film, Amit?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So he plays free safety here from Stephen F. Austin. Watch him force the fumble here, hat on the ball. You know Zach Alley's going to like that. They want to get to 3 turnovers a game. He gets I think he gets an interception there.
Yeah, I know we were worried about some of the safeties like the other week, but it looks like, we got some good pickups now.
Yeah, West Virginia, there's a nice interception there. West Virginia's kind of putting the finishing touches on this this portal class. I think they've done enough that they feel like they can win with. Look at that hard hit there, Amit. Yeah. Again, that's the theme we've been seeing, man, is guys that play to the whistle and hard hit. And that was against Houston, who we're going to see next year on the schedule.
Look, Carl Joseph right there.
We love it. We're just going to have a bunch of dogs. We might not be the most talented team, but we're going to have a team of dogs. Took out Tanner Koziel there, and a very nice tight end from Houston. Nice coverage skills here. Just going to lock them up. I'll tell you what, this secondary battle should be really intense in the summer of who's going to get on the field and who's going to get the most snaps, because they've brought in a lot of similar guys.
Mm-hmm.
A couple guys from LSU and things like that, but a lot of guys that are looking to improve themselves. Watch this hit right here coming up. Watch this. Oh, dang. How to put that in the highlight. So I love seeing the new highlights from the guys, man. It's cool to see these guys be in the fold for West Virginia. Amit, initial thoughts on him before we kind of move to some other things?
Yeah, no, I like his hitting ability, and I think he's going to add some great things to the room. I mean, he just looks like a hard hitter, and I just love those type of guys because I'm a Carl Joseph type of fan. So like a guy that just brings it in and lays people out. So that's what I like.
Absolutely, yeah. I think like I said, it should be interesting to see if this guy can get himself on the field. We've brought in a few other guys, but that position, we feel a lot better about that position than we did a few weeks ago, right? With some of the ads that we've gotten. So Cameron Reddick, best of luck in a Mountaineer uniform. We'll be rooting for you, that's for sure. All right, let's talk about some other things of guys leaving, and then we'll put you guys to bed. It's getting late here. Jalen Henderson goes from West Virginia to Liberty. You can see this is going to be his 4th school now. He started off at Fresno State, didn't do much, and then randomly gets a Texas A&M offer. They're like, you know what? We loved your 49 yards of passing at Fresno State. Why don't you come play in the SEC? And then his SEC time was his best years. I mean, 715 yards passing, six touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I was drinking the Kool-Aid on this guy. I'm not going to lie. There's a couple YouTube shorts that you guys could find of me hyping up Jalen Henderson. I thought with the skill set and what he did at Texas A&M, like, all right, man, he's going to do – I just assumed he was going to do great in Rich Rodriguez's offense. Admit, is Jalen Henderson one of the more disappointing Mountaineers that we've come across in the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, like, what can change in, like, 6 months, right? I mean, all the videos that we were having, like, him and Nico battling it out, right? Both of those guys going to the portal. But, yeah, I just never thought it really panned out for him at West Virginia, and I just don't think they were very comfortable with him throwing as well. I mean, we talked about that in the games that, he got action in. He wasn't, like, they didn't really seem like they wanted to throw much with him. They used him as a runner.
He never looked comfortable at any point this year. I mean, he got a start against Utah, and like the first play of the game, he like tried to like throw it last second and like fumbled. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, he just never looked comfortable. And I mean, let's also keep things in perspective. All of these quarterbacks were thrown into a really difficult situation. I don't care if you had the best quarterback in the nation there this year, they still would have struggled with that offensive line. You can only do what's in front of you. So I'll give him a pass there, but it didn't seem like he could elevate himself over a room that was a little bit mediocre this year, for being honest. It wasn't a great West Virginia quarterback room. Scotty Fox took hold of it at the end of the season. I think Scotty Fox is going to be in a good position next year with another offseason under his belt, and Hawkins pushing him. But best of luck to Jalen Henderson. It didn't work out here. I could see it working out at Liberty. We've seen guys like Goose Crowder and Lowe. And, guys like that go down a level and have success. So best of luck to him. It didn't work out with the West Virginia Mountaineers, and that can happen from sometimes. But best of luck to Jalen Henderson. I wish I could say the same about this guy, best of luck, because this really got me annoyed. And it shouldn't. You shouldn't care what players say, especially, they're younger than us, right? We're in our 30s, they're in their 20s. I get it. But social media training. If you're going to tweet something this dumb, I can talk about it on the show. So thank you for giving me free content, Christian Hamilton. We talked about him. He had 2 career catches for 25 yards at West Virginia. Never really got it going. Amit, you see the tweet there. I want to get your initial thoughts on this tweet from Christian Hamilton. Is this a nothing burger, or do I deserve to press him a little bit over this?
I mean, you could probably press him a little bit, I think. I mean, if you put it out there, but yeah, I just he didn't do much really for West Virginia this past season. So it was another guy we were kind of expecting to do some things, but never really kind of transpired. So yeah, I mean, it is. I guess it is what it is.
Like Tony Gibson with like the greater than sign like a million times. Like first off, I have a few questions, right? Number one, what do you accomplish by tweeting this, right? What is the point of doing that? You're only going to get backlash. When I screenshotted this, there was 45,000 people that viewed that tweet. So you're going to have 45,000 people that are most likely going to, like, I guarantee there's 28 comments there, Mitt. I guarantee that 20 of them aren't great. Right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I want to see the replies now. I'm gonna go look at those.
It's like, bro, like you got paid probably a decent penny to come to West Virginia. You had 2 catches. You didn't do much at North Carolina. Like, take your bag, go to the next school, be mature about it. Say thank you for the opportunity and move on. It doesn't need to be like this. And yeah, you're gonna love Tony Gibson because you haven't played a single snap for the dude yet. As the second he rips you a new one in practice because you're loafing or you don't run the route the right way, you're not going to tweet that the next time. You've been through 3 different head coaches or 4 different head coaches now. And, I got to be honest, like I could care less about these dudes' opinions. Like I'm so over the players and like one thing I can't stand is a few things to be the old man in the room is when the players leave and they like do this long post about thank you, Morgantown. You guys are the best fans, but at the same time, I'm gonna hit the portal.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go to one of your rivals. I'm like, dude, just go. We don't need to hear the sob story. We don't care. You're not gonna be in a Mountaineer uniform. It was fun. Best of luck. You don't need to put that down. And then I think what even annoys me even more is when the teammates like hype it up that are still on the team. Like, yo, go be great. Do you? I'm like, dude, they're gonna play against you next year. Like Trey Lathan, for example. He tweets out in the portal, I guarantee there's players like, go be great, bruh. Do you? The sky's the limit. I'm like, dude, they're going to play you next year. Like, where is like the competitive edge? I guess it's a different time. These guys share locker rooms and they all transfer anyway. But I don't know. That's my end of my rant. I mean, is there anything else I need to say?
No, I just was kind of like, I don't understand what's the point of that tweet. Like, I don't know what he's trying to get at, but whatever.
I don't understand it. Let's get to some comments and then we'll let everyone go to bed so we can feel good tomorrow on a Thursday. I think everyone's gonna be feeling good going into work tomorrow with the Mountaineer win. Devil Dog 44 said Signetti won the Natty without a single 5-star on the roster. We can win a national championship at West Virginia. Hey man, Rich Rodriguez hasn't shied away from those expectations. Rich Rod said that, and if he's put his name on the line, I think he means it. Now, before we can get there, there are a lot of things that need to happen before that happens. We can no longer lose to MAC teams. We need to stay healthy, and we need to continue the way that we are currently recruiting, and we need to do a better job of retaining players. So for this year, I don't think we're going to win the national championship this year. If we win the national championship this year, that would be even a greater story than Indiana. Although the other day I did have a dream that West Virginia made it to the national championship. It was awesome. But then my kids woke me up, and then I was just super depressed after that happened. Yeah. Coop said, is Max Brown staying or is his eligibility up? I have no idea. That's a great question. I should probably look into that. I'm not sure if it matters either way because I mean, to me, what is the point of having Max Brown get any more reps? You have Hawkins, you have Fox, you have the Jerron Hewley kid, you have the Josh Johnson kid from Edna Carr. You have 4 quarterbacks. Do we really want to run it back with Max Brown? Again, I mean, we'll take him if he's in the room and he takes a major discount to stay, but I have no idea. If anyone let me know. He said he sucked, but in NCAA football 25, he's pretty good. Coop, speaking of NCAA football, it's at the point that West Virginia's team is so decimated that I can't even play with them anymore. Because usually you can play with the team. I'm like, all right, oh, this is sick. I got Jaheim White and Cam Vaughn. Now I'm like, I have to play with Jaheim White and Cam Vaughn. This sucks. I don't want to play this game anymore with them. So I'm playing with other players and other teams. I've been running with Oklahoma a little bit online and putting Hawkins in just because he could be the quarterback of the future. So that's been fun. But that's the thing that stinks when the portal happens is like, and even if you have an online dynasty with West Virginia, like he said, like, Hamilton, he's gone now. So like you just built his stats up and played with him imaginary for absolutely no reason. He's not even on the team anymore. So yeah, it kind of stinks. Kevin Varney said Tony Gibson was always a defensive guy anyway. That is true. Love Gibby.
Yeah.
Gibby, when I see guys like Gibby and Shannon Dawson coaching, it brings me back to a happier time when we were on campus and we were youngsters and we were going out like tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? We would
My
have been
favorite night of the week.
Yeah, Thursday night is the best night in Morgantown. If you're in college and you had a life, you know that. But instead, tomorrow, I'm going to go teach my class, and then I'll probably be in bed by like 9 o'clock, and then we'll do it all over again. So it just brings me back, seeing those faces, Tony Gibson and those guys, it brings me back to a happier time in JerseyEER's life. Yeah, he gets destroyed by defenses. Yeah, we'll see how he does. Like I said, I can see Christian Hamilton being a starter at Marshall. I can see Wilkins being a starter there, but they weren't Power 4 starters, I think, at this point, and that's okay. We have new guys. I'm ready to move on. I aired my grievances out against them. It seems like the portal is closed and the buffer period is over, so we have our guys in the fold for next year, and we'll ride with the guys that want to be here, and the ones that don't, good luck until you're playing West Virginia. Or if you went to Virginia Tech like Curtis Jones, I hope you lose every game with James Franklin. All right, Amit. Anyway, to wrap it up, 4-2 in conference play for the basketball team. It's a quad 2 win. It's going to look like tonight, with a potential to move up to more. Girls basketball won. They're ranked. Football schedule's released. Got to recruit today. Good day for the Mountaineers, Amit.
Yeah, good day. Obviously, very excited for the football season next year. I think it's a important year for the squad. And then, yeah, I like where we are with the basketball team. I really do. I mean, I think they're starting to figure it out. Obviously, to be 4-2 in the Big 12 is big time, and exciting challenge ahead. I mean, you're kind of playing with house money against Arizona, but hey, you never know in college basketball. That's for sure. So yeah, let's see what happens. But I think this game was actually a little bit more important to get the split in Arizona, if anything.
It definitely takes the pressure off. I did not want to go into Arizona, Arizona with losing the first one tonight, right? Now the pressure's a little bit off on Saturday a little bit, but we'll see what happens. He said Lady Mountaineers beat ASU at home while men in Tempe. What a sweep. Let's go, baby. We're all for the women. We're for the guys. The wrestling team, we're all Mountaineers, baby. Even up here in New Jersey, we're repping. We're staying up late. We're 10 minutes till midnight, and we're still hanging out with you guys that are huge Mountaineer fans, talking about the win. That's how dedicated we are on a Wednesday night. We're talking Mountaineers and celebrating wins, and that's the way it's supposed to be, and that's the reason why we started this channel after all. All right, guys, we appreciate you guys. It was a great show. Let's go Mountaineers. Look out for some videos with the schedule coming up soon. We'll probably do another post game on Saturday, and we'll keep this thing rolling on the JerseyEER Show. Have a great night. We'll talk to you guys next time on the JerseyEER Show.